So, tonight I will be speaking on infant circumcision and how I made the choice when it came time for me to make that decision for my son. For me, it wasn't a difficult decision. I asked myself, would I want the same for myself if I were male? The answer being a solid no. Why would I want to have my genitals mutilated? Why would I want to mutilate my child's genitals? I made the decision before ever doing any research. I already knew it wasn't medically necessary. Rosie's father and I both hold non-traditional beliefs. It was only after, when I was researching how to care for intact children, that I learned what is for me a horrible truth behind the practice. Many of my Facebook friends may remember my week-long rant regarding what I discovered in my heart, what I was discovering. In my heart, I feel that if many parents knew what was actually happening to their little boys, they'd never consider doing it. For many people, the decision comes part of their belief. It comes part of their beliefs. Most commonly thought as a Jewish tradition. Where did it start? When did it become the thing to do? Why do many doctors push for it? So many good questions that I hope to answer for you tonight. The oldest documented circumcision is depicted in Egyptian hieroglyphs. One of the men depicted wrote about how he endured the pain without flinching alongside 120 men. They believed by doing so they would be cleaner. Many cultures in the Middle East and Africa followed this belief, being that cleanliness is next to godliness and genitals were considered unclean. A little trimming was deemed necessary. In the Middle Ages, circumcision was mainly practiced by the Jewish and could be used as punishment. The Catholic Church deemed it unnecessary for Christians to be circumcised into the 18th century in Europe. Having no foreskin was to be emasculated and to have sexual dysfunction. Into the 19th century, it began to spread into English-speaking countries, but declined around the Second World War in several due to deaths resulting from circumcision complications. Here I come to an interesting point in the history of circumcision. Touching yourself was seen as self-harming and a mental disease. The treatment and prevention for this condition ranged from diet, therapy, and believe it or not, marriage, all the way up to the extremes of circumcision along with castration. Similar procedures were performed on females who masturbated. Even food products were developed to curb the libido, the humble cornflake most prominently. It was widely regarded that infants couldn't feel pain the way adults do until 1987, when it was discovered that infants do in fact feel pain, more so than adults. Many procedures were performed on infants without the use of anesthesia, and many babies died from shock because of it. Today we know better, so we do better. So why hasn't that carried over to circumcision? The modern day circumcision was popularized a way to keep people from masturbating, which is quite futile. It was later used to treat penile cancer, assorted penile ailments, and joint paralysis. Many other health conditions became linked to the foreskin and it became almost universal in the English-speaking world to circumcise boys as a preventive measure. It was propagated that many of the germs that reside under the foreskin were harmful and made it easy for physicians to convince parents it was the right thing to do and it'd be healthier for males in general. The stuff that resides under the foreskin is called smegma and acts much the same way as vaginal fluid for females. To help keep harmful bacteria out, much the same, I'm sure the hygiene issues can easily be resolved without cutting. Research shows us today that foreskin removal is unnecessary and traumatic for small children. This can interfere with parental bonding and can cause difficulty latching when breastfeeding. These procedures are usually performed without anesthesia. which can put infants in shock, can cause mental anguish, leading to stress disorders, restless babies, possibly creating the stereotype of babies that don't sleep. There are many myths about circumcision, and many of which have been debunked. Circumcision has for a long time been believed to help fight against the spreading of HIV. However, this is an aggressive virus and doesn't care whether or not men have foreskin. The only way to help prevent the spreading of the virus is the use of condoms and either taking care with multiple partners or only having one partner. Studies reveal that infant circumcision, the average adult penis has lost 51% of penile tissue. It is 15 square inches in area when folded out and can comfortably fit 15 U.S. quarters within its borders. As an organ, it acts much like an eyelid and protects the eye. The eyelid that protects the eye keeps it moist and clean. As the glands or head is intended to be an internal organ, the foreskin contains 20,000 specialized nerve endings, 4 feet of vessels, 240 feet of nerves, and contains smooth muscle tissue not found anywhere else in the genitals.